All right, are we live? Are we hot? Are we happening? I know we're hot. I mean, I know we're happening, but hey, everyone, welcome to our August town hall. Eric and Sadie here. Reminder to turn off your camera if it's live. And you probably.
I still gotta fix my hair.
Then she looks good.
It's like you gotta go the other way though. Like it's backwards. So I'm like.
It's backwards to us, but I think it flips it around for them.
Oh.
Right. So it's like raise your left hand. Just kidding. That wasn't my right hand. Gotcha. All right. Hey, thanks for joining in. We had over 60 people sign up. Mary, are we all checked in, or should we give people a few more minutes? I'm getting a thumbs up from our producer. So
we sound so official.
I know. You know, it's really interesting. You know, in the middle of a pandemic, you develop all sorts of skills you didn't think you had. You know, like, and one of those skills that we've kind of developed is our ability to look a little bit smarter when it comes to camera like stuff. You know. Yeah. So.
I like to think so anyway.
That's what we tell
ourselves. Don't tell
ourselves.
us any different.
Exactly. No, one of the things that we really take seriously is the need Sadie and I have to communicate. So that's why we do this. So we're really thrilled that you guys are taking your time to join it. And hopefully what we have to share and the questions we'll have to answer will be fun to listen to everybody. Hi, everybody. Hey, Sarah.
It's kind of fun. We're seeing like every now and then, like, you know, before the camera goes off, we're like seeing these little glimpses of people. Exactly. It's like these little snapshots of people in their homes doing their thing.
So Kirsten was smart there. When she was coming on, she like had her hand or something. She was blocking the camera or something. So that, because it was all black screen. So that was, she's my direct report. So well done. You're a thinker. No.
I was not. I was waving to you.
We hire for thinkers.
That's the official term we look for around here. Thinker.
No, bro, I was waving.
No, it's a, ideal team player. Sum it all up. You're a thinker.
Yeah. As opposed to
as opposed to a lunkhead. What? I don't know. Non-think. If you're a non-thinker, oh dear Lord, I'm so sorry for you. Don't drive on public roads. All right. Well, hey.
We have a fun time. Well, we have COVID that we've got to talk about first.
It's COVID. It's.
But then we hope to get to some fun stuff.
Exactly. So. It's COVID. So first we're gonna have the 10 minutes of COVID. It's a drinking game. Anytime somebody says the words unprecedented, take a drink. It's water. This game. Hi, Michelle. I'm gonna pick on people that I want to pick on. I'm warning y'all. I'm feeling a little feisty.
It was his birthday yesterday. Can I say how old you are?
Sure.
He's 51. Isn't it so good for 51? He looks so good, period.
Oh, thank you, honey.
No, you're not. Okay.
Why did you think so? I'm happy.
So anyway, so he's feeling a little feisty because he just had a birthday yesterday, and it was all about him. He got to do whatever he wanted all day.
I did.
And guess what he did?
Oh, no.
He listened to a book and put a Disney puzzle together. This is what he does for his special alone time.
I was really into my audiobook, but I learned to do and I want to listen to it. It's a novel, but I couldn't do anything that required my brain, so I put a puzzle together.
It was a lady in a tramp. Okay, sorry, I threw him off his game. He wasn't ready for you guys to know about his private life.
Whoa, whoa, don't get X-rated on my Disney Lady in the Tramp puzzle.
So anyway,
that's not a metaphor.
He's like,
it really
I'm gonna take a me day. He honestly almost never does this. Like he doesn't, and then he doesn't almost ever take his birthday off. So it was a really big deal. I was kind of surprised. He's like, I'm gonna take a me day. And I come out of a meeting and he's putting a puzzle together. And I was like, is this your me day? And he's like, yep. I was like, okay.
And she decided to talk smack about it during the town hall. And happy birthday, me.
All right, happy birthday. Let's talk about
I did binge watch TV in the afternoon. Does that feel better to you?
Yeah, you can tell what you're watching.
It's a show on Netflix called The Umbrella Academy. It's basically it's the X-Men on acid, I guess you'd call it. No, it's about 7 people who have superpowers and they're in a family, but they're super dysfunctional. So it's probably like what would I say? It's like X-Men meets the Goldbergs? I don't know, maybe. Anyway, and X-Men exactly. So that if you know the Goldbergs, you get that joke. But
we love the Goldbergs.
It's
our
def-
family watches
totally.
it.
But it's definitely a, you got to be ready for prime time. It's not like nudity and sex. There's a lot of cussing and drug references, and it's dark, but I like it.
All right. On that note.
So I went from Disney Lady Tramp Puzzle to X-Men demonic
On acid, yeah.
X-Men on acid. I don't know. Interpret me for however you want. I'm a box buster. I defy your presuppositions and judgments.
Then we had a date, which honestly just kind of, I don't know, minute on that. I don't know. It's fun. Okay. We went on a date and bittersweet. I don't know. We found a new place that, we all have the shelter in place, can't go very many places. We go up to our old property that where the fire was.
Yeah, we still have the land.
We still have the land. We don't live there anymore, of course.
There's nothing there but a hole in the ground, a driveway.
Mm-hmm.
That's all jacked up and damaged.
So we take the truck and we watch a show and we drink wine and we talk. We talked a lot last night. And I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of sharing that because we're gonna all get through this COVID and you're gonna look back. And I think when we go up to Brunswick, we look back and we talk about kind of the good, the bad, the ugly, because there's just still stuff to unpack. So I just give you permission as you're processing COVID, and as it goes on years in the future, and you're still processing, there'll be the good, there'll be the bad, there'll be the ugly to work through.
It was a little surreal last night because we were up there on the hill, and all but one county in California is dealing with a wildfire as the pandemic's running up. Let's burn the state down. It's been a rough year. I am ready for ready for 2021. Let me tell you. But anyway, we're sitting there.
Smoky.
We're sitting there in the having a glass of wine in the back of my pickup truck, and I'm smelling the smoke in the air. And everywhere I look, there's scarred land from a fire. It was kind of surreal and weird. We had a nice time. We chose, and I guess I would say we always have the ability to choose your attitude. Fish philosophy. And one of the attitudes that my wife and I chose last night was to still appreciate what we have, and appreciate what we've been through and the challenges that we've overcome, and to enjoy the moment, even if there were reminders in that moment of things that were painful.
Yeah.
So just because you're in the middle of a yucky or awkward situation doesn't mean that awkward situation, that yuck, has to control you and your emotions. You actually can tell yourself what to do and how to feel and do that. So that was
our night. That was his birthday.
That was my birthday.
All right.
Lady Tramp Puzzle to a date with my wife. It's more than I expected to tell everybody during a town hall.
All right, COVID. Let's talk COVID.
Well, 10 minutes. Oh, COVID. Hey, normally it's 5 minutes, but we got some more stuff to tell you. Statewide, Governor Newsom thinks we're kind of slightly turning a corner in our infections. But in general, infections have gone up. More and more young people are getting it, which means fewer people are actually getting sick and dying, because young people typically do not get sick, severely sick. They might get sniffles or whatever, but and the more young people get it, the less there are. It's kind of good for all of us in general. And my daughter's licking doorknobs, and I'm kidding, she's not. But it's that's so the state we're doing better. We're doing better. I have no crystal ball. I don't know when things are going to change or how this SIP is going to continue, but it's good to see that hospitalizations and deaths are not spiking in California the way they had at one point, and so definitely have the capacity to handle it.
Yeah, but we have bad news.
But we have some bad news. This time it's personal.
Yeah.
Well, not personal to say to me.
Well,
I'm
it
not
is.
sick, but
It's personal.
because it's people we know and love.
Personal.
Compass has had 2 outbreaks. We've had 2 outbreaks. I'll talk about the recent one first. Shasta County, we've had a client test positive, and
a group of people going to get tested.
Several staff are being tested to get positive. If you're officially familiar with Compass, then you know that we have the circle model that we employed after we had a scare in Red Bluff back in March. The purpose of that circle model is to have in place protections against further exposure.
Limits. I mean, it's limits.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't completely protect, but we can limit.
Exactly. We kind of sequester clients in groups of 1, 2, or 3, so that there's never more than 14 people That's actually the magic number. Don't ask me why. 14 people that could be exposed if somebody tests positive. Because staff do move between those 1 or 2 or 3 homes, but staff are not supposed to be moving outside of that circle. That way, if there is a positive test in that circle and those folks are exposed, we know it's limited to those folks. So we have a situation here in Reading where one of our clients has tested positive. He's been demonstrating symptoms, and in fact, he's struggling a little bit. He's not in the hospital yet, but he's getting medical care, and we're praying for his recovery. And a number of his staff have been tested. Some have come back. The results have come back on some of them, not all of them, but so far, none of the test results have come back and shown anybody else is positive yet. So we're working towards getting a full result on that. And our hope is that that circle will have help. And then our other hope is that nobody else will be positive. So there's that. And of course, that our client will recover fully. We had a heavy outbreak that happened in Ukiah. I say it's heavy because the county health department got involved and required every Compass person affiliated, employed, or served in both our offices, in the Fort Bragg and in the Ukiah office, to get tested. 77 people were tested. That sounds like all kinds of no fun to me. And 8 people tested positive. 3 clients, 5 staff. Because the reason what happened there was the circle did not hold. We had bouncers, we had people getting out who were working inside that circle, also working inside other circles, and that caused the positive test that 2 clients had that were roommates, then exposed potentially actually the entire RCRC operations. The county got involved. People got tested because of us who aren't even affiliated with Compass because our staff or clients had connections with them. So those 2 experiences have really underscored to us why the circle model is so important. I'll finish the facts about those 8 folks.
And also just safety in general.
Exactly.
Staying safe while you're off shift, and then also being safe when you're on shift.
Exactly. So we did this circle model back in March because we had one of our clients in Red Bluff who had symptoms of the flu, therefore of coronavirus. She frequently actually did have pneumonia or pneumonia-like symptoms, so we weren't sure if it was coronavirus. But y'all remember how March was, man? Anytime you felt a little warm, you were afraid you were going to die in 2 days. I mean, we were still, it was so new. We were still learning about it. Our anxiety would just get paid, turned all the way up to 11 instantly. But when we did the potential forward tracing from her, we realized every staff and every client in Red Bluff would have been exposed based on how the schedules were constructed at the time. So we went full stop on that situation. We pulled the ripcord, and within a handful of days, we established the circle model protocols, and within a few weeks, all of Compass converted its schedules to those circle models. Okay, so that's the reality. That's where Compass is right now. Here's my exhortation. CS, ILSMs, supervisors, and RMs. You have got to stay within the circles. We cannot have Ukiahs happening like that. And that happened because the circles did not hold effectively. This one situation we have in Reading, the circle cracked a little. And as long as all the tests come back negative, we'll be fine. But if we have more positive tests, we're going to have many more people get tested. And ultimately that means many more vulnerable people will have been put at risk of coronavirus. Remember, about 2/3 of our clients have comorbidities that put them in a higher risk category than anybody who doesn't have those comorbidities, are. Anyway, if you're under 60 years old and you don't have comorbidities, it's a very low statistical chance that the significant health problems will develop in your life. It's not impossible, but it's super low. But if you have the comorbidities, even if you're 25-year-old, you can get sick severely from coronavirus. And that's 2/3 of our clients. So we have all these constraints in place. We have these systems in place. We're wearing masks. We're social distancing. We're doing all these things.
Wiping down surfaces. Even though they say that's not as dangerous as we all thought originally, still we're doing that.
We're still doing all those.
And you check off all the boxes when you get on shift.
Clock in and out. Yeah, we're still doing all these protocols to protect those vulnerable folks among us, which just happens to be about nearly 300 of our clients, maybe more than that actually. So CS, supervisors, stay within your circles. This is a huge, huge deal. I cannot emphasize how important this is. You stay within your circles. And if you have to crack a circle, your RM has to know about it.
All right, and everyone be safe. Be
Everyone
safe. We've definitely, and I think I kind of want to point out that notice that they're in our areas that are more rural. I think we get a little bit more casual when we're rural. I know that I also suffer from casualness living in a rural area.
I mean, and it's natural. I mean, just so you guys know, there are probably 60 people in Shasta County, for example. Actually, I have hard data on this, so I'm not going to waste this time talking about all the counties that Compass works in.
He broke out a spreadsheet one day.
I was a little mad about some stuff, so I decided to get into the facts. I went right to the health departments, right to the data. I started crunching some numbers. That's not what I do. Basically, there are 180,000 residents in Shasta County. Maybe 60 have an active case. That includes an additional 40% that the CDC estimates for basically every 10 people that are active that have been tested positive. There's probably 4 that have a non-symptomatic situation, therefore haven't been tested.
Or haven't gotten tested for whatever reason.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, for every 10 people that can be spreading it and they know they can spread it, there's probably 4 more out there. It's 40% additional, right? That includes that. That means 0.2. Basically, that means you have to be in a room with 3,000 people in Shasta County to be in the same room with one person who's active and contagious. So it's very low risk in Shasta County. That's good. Problem is, we can get lazy and get a little careless knowing that and not take appropriate precautions. And the appropriate precautions that we must stay vigilant about at Compass has to do with masks when appropriate, has to do with our social distancing, and has to do with our circles. And the circles are big. I know it's hard, CS, to schedule with your circles intact. I understand the difficulty there, but the consequences of breaking that circle can be disastrous. So please stay faithful to them. The good news, though, out of all this is every person in Ukiah that tested positive has recovered. No one, we had one person go to the hospital as a client. She's recovered from her coronavirus illness. All of our staff recovered, and those that were sick or those that were symptomatic or asymptomatic, everybody's fine. And I believe all of our staff have actually come back to work, right? The one person's still out? Okay, I wasn't sure if he'd come back yet. So we still have one of our 5 staff who's been out on quarantine, but he actually was symptomatic. But everybody's recovered and going to be coming back to work soon if they're not home. So that's the really good news. So far, the major, the sky has not fallen, even though sickness has occurred. That's the good news.
That's the good news, which is a great segue because we got more good news.
More good news.
So being honest and transparent, August is a little hard to.
The dog days of summer.
It's a little hard to find all the good news. So.
I mean, any month that's dominated by 2 national political conventions, the month's going to suck. That's just a bad sign.
So, saying that, I want to say out loud and proud, if you have good news, please share it. Share it with your CF, with your ILSM, share it with your team, share it with us, share it on Facebook, because these are the times that you have to choose your attitude and you have to choose to play and you have to make these conscious decisions to choose good news. And we have to obviously acknowledge all the things we just acknowledged, but we also want to focus on good news. So some good news that we have going on around here is we have love in the air. We have someone that's going on a honeymoon soon. We have someone that's getting married. So we have some love in the air. So shout out to love. We love love.
It's good. It's good that even in a time like this, life, the joyful parts of life are still possible.
So that is some seriously good news. Then we also have had some things return back to normal-ish. We have more hiring happening. Yep. We are doing orientations. We are on a pretty decent regular schedule with orientations. And that means we're having
doing one right now as we speak. One's going on another week.
And we have
virtually.
More applications coming in. Everyone's kind of looking up from their circumstances, say, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to go back to work. I'm ready to get serious about this. And so we are doing more hiring. We are also, some good news, we're working on involving our clients more in the process of hiring, which we're really excited about. I went through recently some training with our case facilitators. We're going to start doing virtual second interviews. And gosh, I had so much fun. So we're doing these one-page client introductions. And
really cool.
I read through, I think I'm through 150 of them. I still have,
more.
Yeah, I have about 50 more. I'm trying to think. I still have some of South Bay and some of East Bay and some of RCRC left, but I've done all of Far North, and I have done about half of East Bay and about half of South Bay too. So anyway, I've done a lot, and it's been so fun. And what I find really interesting is the clients had a choice. They had a client and the choice of partial involvement, meaning they kind of wanted to be involved, minimal involvement, which is really kind of code for they don't want to be involved. Now, minimal, though, if we're being honest, they're going to be involved in their hiring process, but they just don't want to actively participate. And then we have full involvement. And gosh, I was really surprised. So many of our clients want to have full involvement. They want to the level of their ability, be involved in our hiring process. So we're really excited about this. This is good news. Us all moving to a virtual world, although we're still working out some technical difficulties. Different people are on the learning curve of learning all about technology. We are really excited to provide this as a new way for our clients to participate in their hiring process. So it's good news. It's going to be rolling out. We're practicing for the next couple of months. And so not everyone will have it every time, but we are. I just heard yesterday that I think East Bay gets to practice first. They have someone set up that they're going to practice with next week. So I'm so grateful for all of you to participate in this. And I'm really grateful to see how this helps our hiring process and helps our clients feel more invested and involved in who comes into their home, which is super important.
Definitely true to person-centered thinking principles. But it's also just on a practical matter, it's going to be so much better for the new staff when they actually go to the home and do their shadow training, because they'll have already met the client virtually. It'll be easier for the client. Hopefully they'll remember. And but it'll be easier for the staff. And first impressions can go a long way to establishing a relationship or making a relationship challenging. So
Emily said I had so much fun reading, both about the full involvement, but also the different questions clients want to ask. There's some really fun questions about. Well, one that's gonna likely get changed was, is it okay if I ask inappropriate questions? So, we're gonna like give a little that we're gonna ask that client if they'd like to give a little more context to that question.
Boxers and briefs.
But a lot of them were about their care, or I saw a lot about, do you like to play sports, or do you like to play video games? What kind of video games? So, so things that really matter to our clients, which, those things would matter to me. Well, video games don't matter to me, but it would certainly matter to me if they would watch sports. All right. We are also, we're going to, in the next month, in September, roll out even more pens. So I'm so grateful. You guys have just jumped in. We've had really great sessions. You've worked the kinks out with us. And it's been great. And I thank you to all my trainers who've stepped up and done this. And they've had to rework all their material to work it out in a virtual environment. And we're now inviting a few more trainers to come into the scene. And we're going to start doing 2 in the month of September.
That's
so we're going to get more people
so many
training.
People who can go through that.
You have 50 in Far Northern alone that need to go through at least one letter of the pen. So
every department. I mean, we have managers. We need to go through. We have CFs who need to go through pen. We have people in the home office who need to go through pen, and we have urgently need our field staff who are needing. There's just a big need for it. So thank you to those of you who are stepping up. And
which leads me to another fun topic, which is that we have hired a training manager. His name is Andy Flaherty. He's in the process of defending his thesis, so he'll end up being Dr. Andy Flaherty. And he's going to take over our training. Today he's in Sacramento working with Melanie, who was our previous training manager, and then he's actually going to be visiting all of our offices, and he's actually shadowing. He's shadowing with clients. He's asking the clients questions, and he's really getting to know what we do, starting with the LG position, but then he's going to go to the CF and the supervisor position, and then he's going to spend some time with ILS and with ILCs, ILSNs, and even our supervisors. So
exactly, we're really excited about him. His last 5 years has been as a college professor, actually. So he's going to be able to bring even a more robust academic strength to our training and to our staff education. But he's very clinical in his mindset. He really thinks that it shouldn't just be talky words. The training you do should make a difference in how somebody behaves. There should be real measurable results from that. So I'm really excited how he's going to apply that sort of knowledge and expertise he has to our entire training platform over the next years to come.
But he's not just an academic. Like, he was a program manager for a program for a long time. He did some behavioral support and was a behavioral tech in previous seasons. So he's not just kind of been in his ivory tower. He's actually a real life human that has done this real life human work. And it's been so fun to hear him come back from different scenarios, talking to clients and getting to know them. And we serve some really fun people, and we serve such a diverse group of people.
Totally.
So he's getting to know all the different diversities and getting to know all our different regions. And so he's actually you may see him, he may be observing, quote unquote, lurking around. He wanted me to make sure I let you all know that he's not, it's all just him observing and actually, without judgment, understanding who we are and what we do. So you don't need to worry if you see his lovely face. And hear his British accent. He has a cool British accent.
He's a Brit, although he's been in the South the last 5 years. So now he's kind of like, you take Tennessee and England, put that together, you get England. So he's a good man, good friend, and we feel really good to have him on our team.
Yep.
That's super important because hiring has popped open again.
Yep,
man.
hiring, and then, like I said, training is turning back on, and then we are also beginning to bring in points. So that's our good news.
All right, so we'll get some updates for you, some news you can use. So hey, virtual all hands. It was a hit in the spring, so we're gonna do it again in September. Videos are being recorded. We've already recorded ours. I thought we looked pretty good. Hopefully it'll be fun to watch. And we're just doing the intro this time, intro and outro. But got a good training. It's going to have we have a behavioral training, and there's going to be a training with what's the other one? Oh yes. Well, you like my clapping my hands?
I don't like when you clap your
my
hands. With distinction.
It is important. I'm emphasizing points.
All right.
Anyway, so yeah. So but it's also the managerial one. That's just our very
I feel
basic
like the
training.
need to warn people.
I do. I'm warning you. It's the sexual harassment training that comes.
That's mandated by California.
You gotta do it. Exactly.
So
Hashtag me too.
It may not be your favorite training ever, but maybe it is. Maybe it's something you find a lot of interesting and fascinating. Make sure that we have a safe work environment.
Exactly. So do make sure you participate in that. Actually, we do expect 100% company's participation, but clients, please don't even ask. If you have any clients of ours, Greg counting on you, don't ask, please. I like you, and I want you to still like us. Don't ask to go to that one. That's for employees.
All right. Then we have so we've had a spiritual emphasis kind of theme going on. Wanted to provide a safe place for this for people that are interested in this topic. And so there's already been a flyer that went out and a sign up. And if you are interested, please sign up. I think we have around 30 plus people. And our Options sister agency is also going to be joining us, those who are interested from Options. So it'll be kind of a neat, fun opportunity to maybe see some faces you haven't seen before. Well, maybe you haven't seen any of those faces in a long time. So anyway, it's fairly, it's spiritual. It's a very open topic. It's about surviving the shock of change. I've actually seen the outline. It's excellent material, and I think it would just help you dealing with all this change. And he kind of gives some of the kind of the psychology or the why behind it. And
did you mention who it is?
It's Denny Taylor. He's been the one that's been doing our Pastor on Call as well. So
Compass
it's kind
Pastor
of
on
an
Call.
opportunity to get to know him a little bit better.
Exactly. And again, he's still on call, which means he's available to, if anybody has a need, they want to talk to somebody, want to get some prayer, he's available to you. You can call him. If you just want somebody to pray for you, but you want your voicemail and actually not talk to the person, you can do that too. So it's a virtual, distance on call.
Yeah.
Anyway, so whatever you like.
Tell him you want to call back. You just want to
Exactly.
get for us.
Exactly.
He'll on his own pray for you.
Whether you have a similar faith or not, if you just want some prayer or want some encouragement, he's there for you.
Yeah, and so the prayer meeting is it's just an informational thing. Anyway, you go if you want to go. Don't go if you don't want to go.
No problem.
You. I actually will not be there. So everyone gets to be who they are.
All right. Well, one thing you don't get to be, though, is not paperwork. You don't get to be that guy. You don't get to be the guy who doesn't do paperwork. And I'm really excited. We are in the process of beta testing our electronic DSN, daily service notes. Shout out to you, Bay Area. Thanks so much for East Bay, I should say. Thanks so much for being our guinea pig, our lab rats. They started doing it this week, and I haven't yet to hear reports on it because it's been so new, but we're really excited about it. It simplifies the daily service note that's on paper, and it will eliminate the paper version once it's fully deployed. If this beta test goes well, and we don't have any significant fixes or re-engineering, any significant changes to the software, if it goes well, we're going to deploy it sometime in September or October.
Yeah. We'll have a practice season where we do
paper next to electronic. But the upside of this is that we won't be running out to homes to collect paper. We're trying to avoid unnecessary physical interaction in client homes. And furthermore, these daily service notes will be instantly available to management. You don't have to wait a whole month.
There's also a checkbox, so if you're in the field and you have something you really want to make sure that the CF knows about, you can say checkbox and say it's an urgent message from my CF. So
you can request. So staff can request.
Just one more way
contact.
To communicate.
Exactly. So CFs, if there's something going on in the home and you don't know about it, once you go electronic daily service notes, you should be able to know quite easily. So that's something that we're really, really excited about.
All right. Well, the next announcement is an announcement to all of us who have kids, and that's it's back to school time. But I understand. So we're parents. We have 2 high schoolers and a junior higher. So we actually have older kids, which is helpful right now in this season.
For us, it is, yeah, because they can be kind of self-controlled.
Right. So they can kind of do their own thing. So we have a son at home right now, and he starts tomorrow. But
right now he should have walked the dogs and cleaned his room, and now he's probably playing video games with his best friend. That's probably what he's doing.
So we do understand this kind of new environment, this alternate reality that we're all in. But we want to hear from you. We're actually going to be putting out a survey in the next few days. It's just going to be a really simple survey monkey. And if you are a parent and you have kids at home and you are doing the distance learning thing, we want to hear from you. We want to hear how we can support you, because I don't know how you're experiencing it, but first and foremost, I'm experiencing that I'm getting information. Literally, my daughter was told at 9:01 she needed to sign on for a class at 9. So I grace the school systems are all trying to figure this out. Everyone's just scrambling as fast as they can.
But when you
I'm hearing new things like every day about what needs to happen and be done.
I mean, it's a couple steps shy of a disaster, but I'm not entirely surprised. The public school system in America, and certainly in California, has been this behemoth battleship that's just slowly sailed down the ocean for a century. Those ships don't turn very quickly. So
or at all.
At all, right? And a lot of teachers that have been teaching their classes the way they've been doing it for 25 years now have to figure out how to do this thing virtually. I sat in a little seminar from Columbia University, Ivy League college, where I got my MBA. I mean, this is like these professors, they teach me classes and make $250,000 a year, and they're in New York City, right? The guy couldn't figure out how to use his Zoom call. He could not figure out how to use his basic. How do I click forward on this PowerPoint? It was kind of awkward and embarrassing. I felt bad for him. Good material, but that was him. I can't imagine how a lot of teachers in the public school system who don't run in that level of technological excellence, it's a big deal. So I do have sympathy for the struggle.
So anyway, all that to say, we want to hear from you. We want to hear if there's any way that Compass can support you. The kind of work we do doesn't stop, right? We kind of jokingly say cerebral palsy doesn't take a day off, nor does any of our other disabilities take a day off. So unfortunately, we have to keep doing this 24/7. But I understand now you have a new set of responsibilities if you're a parent with the children at home. And so We want to be creative. We want to come up with solutions. I don't even know what those are. Like, this is just really, it's going to be a conversation. It's a question. But I just want to know if there's anything that you can think that we can do to support you while you're figuring out a whole new job of supporting your kids while they're going back to school.
Yeah, we are all in this together, right? That cliche is already getting old, but it's true. I mean, we all have to. This is going to be a marathon. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It always was, and now it's just one where we're all running around with half our body tied behind our back.
Yeah.
So we got to do it together.
Yep.
We got to lean on each other.
So we get it. We are working parents, and so we get it, and we want to do whatever we can to support.
Yep.
All right.
Lastly, we have 3 more. Four more town halls.
4
more town halls
every month. We're doing
scheduled for the rest of the year. We try to do it on the 3rd Thursday of each month. Couldn't do that for October, but for the months of September, November, and December, it's the 3rd Thursday, right? That's correct. 3rd Thursday of the month. So those are the dates: 17th of September. October is the 29th. So we will not be dressed for Halloween on that day. Don't even ask. Anyway, so those are the dates. So please mark them down. And we hope to see you then too.
All right.
Speaking of things that we get to do again.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to abbreviate this a little bit because you and I have been chatty. And we have questions and other things. Hey, do we have other questions coming in?
Just a couple comments so far.
Okay. All right. So what we did, fun thing is we posted on our Facebook page and our Instagram and asked you to like memories, comments, and we had a lot of comments. In fact, if you go on there, I wrote you back. And Eric and I just thought we'd kind of relive some memories with some people real quick. So the first one, Monica, she says that happy anniversary. Haven't been with the company too long, a little over a year, but loved our trips to Six Flags with Danny. So one of the fun things that we have been able to do over our 24 years, one of the things I said to Eric really early on is I want to be able to have bands. I want to be able to create community. So I'm so grateful to hear stories that we had nothing to do. This was not a Six Flags trip from Compass. Compass did do some of these trips, but I have loved the community that has been built and the individuals inside of our community that go do community without us all the time. And so I'm glad you've gotten to take some trips to Six Flags, and we certainly hope that gets to happen again soon.
So another example of that is a comment made by one of our staff out in the Ukiah area, Garrett. Talked about how difficult it is for him to list his favorite memories. But
he's been with the company 5.78 years.
Yeah, I don't know how you keep it 5.78. That's awfully specific. 5.78. Exactly. Well, now it's probably 5.7, 5.81. It's been like probably 3 days since he looked at it. Anyway.
It was yesterday.
Okay. Either way, wow, Garrett, that was bizarrely specific. But I know you're on their call, so I think you are at least. Anyway, so we're just talking about how one of his first, 2 of his most fun memories are going to see the Little River Band or going to see Styx with a couple of different clients. And just another example of how staff and clients together build relationship and make memories. And I love that because we tend to think as caregivers, as professional social workers, that the work we do makes a difference in the lives of those that we serve. But the truth is, the work we do makes a difference in our own life. And we walk away with memories.
100%, which is a great segue to Miss Janelle. Janelle, oh, that one's yours.
Yeah,
but that's
yours.
okay.
I really want to do Janelle. So
okay, you do Janelle.
Because what many of you may not know is that I was her first staff. I actually was the staff. Because Sadie and I were newly married, and I wasn't really working with Compass at the time. I was just, when we brought on Janelle, it was a special situation requiring only bachelor's degree educated staff at the time.
And it couldn't be me.
And it couldn't be Sadie because she was the owner, so she hired me. The interview process was grueling. Don't even ask me about the drug test. Don't. But anyway, so hi Janelle, and yeah, 20 years. It's 20 years. No, actually it's 19 years because her first year was a month.
She insists it's 20, but yes, Janelle, because we were married. We know how long we've been married. 19 years. But you've known us for 20.
Exactly,
because there was a year.
It took a year of getting to know and assessment. So, but officially a client for 19 years, and I can't tell you how proud of you I am, girl. I can't tell you how proud of you I am. You have just developed into just a wonderful, beautiful woman, and we are so glad you're in our community. And I will always.
I think that's a great segue to the other client. Okay,
and I always remember going shopping at Target with you for that bedding set, and so you're a treasure, Janelle. And who else also is a treasure is Greg in San Jose. He's a new client. He's only been with us for a few months.
Well, he says
7 months. 7 months. So, but he has just really, Compass has really sounds like it's become home to him. So much so that he called me on my birthday. Now, you may not know this, but Compass's anniversary also happens to be my birthday. I don't know why. I don't know. I didn't know that was say he was looking for that, but it made it easier. I should never forget.
I had a very specific list of what I was looking for. Very specific.
So check. That was done. But that being said, excuse me. I got a phone call message from Greg yesterday, just wishing me happy birthday. That felt really sweet. That was nice. And so thanks, Greg. I got it. And I knew that I would see you on this call or you'd be a part of this. So I was looking forward to giving you a shout out, and really glad that you've just been so happy with us in a short time we've been together.
There were a lot of staff that made comments, and many of you are near and dear to my heart, and I did make you a little comment back. But when I say something, Lorraine said that she's been with Compass a little over 4 years. Compass is a great place to work. My favorite part about Compass are finding a friend in coworkers as well as clients. Totally agree. I recently had a conversation with Andy where he's like, so many companies say, like, keep your distance, don't have any connection. And I was like, I said, there are issues with connection. There are problems that come up. There's things that are complicated, but I will take the problems of connection over the problems of disconnection any day. Any day. Because the problems of disconnection really lead to so much more dangerous places than the problems inside of connection. So yep. I'm glad you've experienced that too, Lorraine. You also mentioned that we get to keep growing together, and that's a lot of fun too. I agree.
Absolutely. I would rather make a mess in a relationship where trust exists, because that's what connection does. It creates trust, creates a space for trust to happen. Because in that place, you can clean up that mess. But if there is no connection, there will be distrust. And when someone makes a mistake, next thing you know, people are calling the lawyers. And it's a real bummer. So connection wins every time. That's how we are at Compass. So if you don't like connection, if you like being distant from the people you're around, this is probably a very uncomfortable place for you. Sorry.
All right, we're going to try. We had quite a few questions. We're going to try to go through those pretty quickly so that we can get a couple more questions if you have them. So if you had a question and you didn't get a chance to send it in, put it in the chat to Mary. So Greg, we already mentioned you once. He would like to know if we're going to do a small retreat next year, and then what are requirements to be a caregiver. Our requirements to be a caregiver are on our website. There are not a lot of requirements, but we do have some requirements. So you can send people to our website to look up those requirements. But as far as a small retreat next year, obviously we're all just hoping, waiting, and seeing what happens inside of the coronavirus and our ability to stay safe. So I actually was in Trader Joe's on Sunday and ran into a client here in Reading, and she recognized me and with my mask on, and said to Eric and I, "When are we going on a retreat?" So that is a very valid and common question that Eric and I are getting, and it does my heart good to know that our retreats are that important and that they're that special to all of our clients and our staff. So we will do everything we can to make it happen, but we will have to, obviously, safety is our number one priority.
Totally.
Okay, Nellie in the East Bay said that she'd like us to not use acronyms, and I probably did today, and I apologize, Nellie. If you hear us use an acronym and it needs more definition, if you could just type just the letters of the acronym or what you thought the letters were that I said really quickly. We can get you that on the chat. Mary knows almost all the acronyms, and so she can give that to you. And I do apologize, that is a super bad habit. I've actually been told that I do that my entire career, and I'm sorry, I understand it's like a different language when I use IHSS and EAP and ISP, and I use all those dumb letters.
RCP,
So I apologize, and it's a super good point, and I will do my best. But if I do it and you want to know what it is, just put it in the chat and we'll get back to you. All right, Jessica brought up a really good point about how there's a coin shortage, and is there anything we could do to help
So weird.
individuals with their quarters for laundry? Honestly, I'm so grateful you brought this up. It had not occurred to me. So I don't have a good answer because I read your question today, and it's a great question. And so what I'm going to do is I'll be talking to our VP of operations, and she'll be getting together with the RNs, and we'll come up with a plan, because I can totally understand how that's an issue, and we need to have a creative solution. I don't know what it is right now, but we will come up with a creative solution.
I never would have, in a million years, would have imagined that we would run out of quarters and coins in our economy, but probably because places are reluctant to collect them and send them out unsanitized. I don't know. It must have something to do with that. So I don't know. We'll try to come up with some solution to help, but that's a new one. Speaking, excuse me. Speaking of solutions needed, things that are new. Garrett in the in Ukiah, same Garrett I just spoke about a few moments ago, asked a question, talked about during the recent outbreak of in Ukiah, where several of his coworkers were unable to work, and Wes Compass's approach to pay when people can't work because of the coronavirus. It's honestly something that we do on a case-by-case basis, because no two infections seem to happen the same, and work schedules are varied between individuals. So a lot of it depends on whether we have a sick client or whether we just have an potentially exposed staff. But we are working to make sure that people's pay is as whole as we can make it, and especially if it's a situation where we instruct staff to stay home. So we, as far as I know, all of our Ukiah staff have been or are being made whole. So Garrett, bless you for thinking about them. Because I believe you didn't have to miss any work yourself, so that's totally generous thought on your part. Appreciate that. But it is something that we do quite intentionally, but it's done on a case-by-case basis. Mm-hmm. So this Compass, there's the sick pay policy and when people are sick because of coronavirus and miss work, they're made whole. Mm-hmm. Totally. So everything else is a case-by-case basis.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Bella, hey, glad everything's going well. Good to hear from you. Miss your stand up, my friend. And Jessica, of course, she's in our North Bay, and you're welcome. Glad she thanked us for hosting these. Glad you appreciate them. And I gotta say, Jessica, she said, just so y'all know, she sent Sadie and me probably once a month an email just telling us how she's praying for us and kind of what's on her heart. Really, always very encouraging emails, and we do read them, and we both appreciate them. So thanks, Jess.
All right, Michelle asked about our promotion seminars, and those have been, like we said before, unfortunately, they have been canceled for the rest of this year. I understand that question has come up quite a bit, and I know that that's a bummer, but that's what we need to do is cancel them for this year because they are in person, and we have yet to determine what they will look like next year, so I can't answer if they're going to be virtual or not, but we will not be having them for the rest of this year. And then she also asked about retreats as well. I would love to go to Disneyland, and I'd love to go to Lake Tahoe. So hopefully
so my daughter
can do that.
So our kids, they want to go to those places. We'll let you guys, as soon as we have any information on any of those topics, we will be sharing.
Mm-hmm. So Moni asked, why can't we require people to test for COVID if there is a possible exposure? What we have done is essentially worked with the individual in their individual circumstances. Most people, I would say 8 out of 10 have just willingly said, yes, let me go get a test. Some people, we have people in our group that have thought that they should just go get a test they didn't even think they had a reason, but just to be proactive. So we have some people being really conscientious and cautious, and we appreciate that. And most people have worked really well with us to go get tests when they've needed to go get tests. But there have been some extenuating circumstances where people didn't want to go get a test right away. They were waiting for someone else's test results to come back, things like that.
And who wants to get a Q-tip shoved up their head? I mean, I kind of understand.
So I understand of course, we're a culture that honors choice, and so we're trying to give people choices. But I am going to ask that if we ask you to go get a test, please go do it. So that is for everyone's safety. So we're not, we have not required in most situations. We've asked very strongly in lots of situations, and we've honestly had a very respectful and responsible team. So
right. The federal government, the EEOC, which is the part of the federal government that defines labor laws for the country, has said, it's on their website, you can go find it yourself if you want to, it says on their website that companies can require tests as long as they are evenly handed and consistent in their test policy. And of course we are. The whole reason we do tests is just to protect people. That's all. So we can actually, but we are judicious about it and want to make sure it's the best thing to do in a situation. So it does come in relationship with the staff one-on-one. So.
All right. So those were the questions that we were asked today. Mary, do we have other questions?
Yep, some comments first. Sarah, CF in Siskiyou, says, Eric, your birthday is the same as her mom's. Good day to be born. Moni in Mendocino County loves the new intro form for the clients.
Oh, good.
Awesome. Wonderful.
Anna in Ukiah says, Sadie, your makeup looks great.
Oh, thanks, Anna. I really appreciate that. I just work hard on it. One day a month, it gets done as well.
I roll my eye. Not true, but she does look good. She does look good.
All right, Julia is a life coach in Chico and is wondering if there's an update on the status of the Chico office.
Oh my gosh. I wish we could show pictures.
It looks adorable.
Mary just showed us pictures. It's adorable now. I think it's open by appointment. That's just for safety purposes as well as people purposes. We only have Sherry there, so she can't be there all the time.
It's basically a one-room space, so there's really no social distancing that can occur into it. So if you do need to meet with Sherry, you can call
or with someone else, because we have other people that go there.
Yeah. I'm saying, but if you have a purpose for meeting there, you can. But we're not doing. We haven't done an open house either there or in our Siskiyou office yet, because our Siskiyou office got opened up about a month before the pandemic hit. So once we have freedom and can kind of do those sorts of things, we will actually have an open house in both of those spaces. But until then, it's only by appointment only. Same policy as we have everywhere else.
Yeah. So great question. Technically, it's open, but by appointment only. So and it's cute.
It is.
So that's what's important, right?
They did a good job. Apparently Sherry likes it too, which is good.
All right, Carrie, who's a coach in Shasta County, is with Darlene, and they're wondering if you guys have heard anything about when day programs may open up.
Oh, great question.
Good question.
So there's a question about day programs opening up. There have been some regulations and some, honestly, DDS is shifting and moving and trying to be as responsive as possible.
Talk about battleships that turn slow. I'll give them credit. They have really dealt with a lot of change faster than I thought they would be able to.
And there is a lot of creativity being put into day programs right now as we speak. I'm on some listservs and some groups. And I know some day programs have already even opened up in different counties and different regions. But I do anticipate there'll be at least some things opening up in September. That's when everyone's shooting for, is September 1. That some things are going to start opening up. So now I can't speak to exactly which program and when, because
which county?
Yeah, what county. But I do understand that the regulations are changing and there's a lot of work being done right now, so things can open up as early as September 1.
Yeah, but that's the most optimistic possible answer. I think in some other counties it's going to be months beyond that. So.
Agreed.
We need to be prepared for day programs to not open up for quite some time, but I think many of our clients really actually do miss the activity, and it would be good they would appreciate it.
Well, and to be clear, on September 1, I'm not saying that the doors will fly open and everyone will be allowed back in. There's a lot of alternative programs that are going to be offered. People are trying to be very person-centered, come up with options specific for individuals that really miss day program and that are healthy. So there's a lot. That was one of the things that I really appreciated about this group that I'm on with all these day programs, is they're saying this is our opportunity to really reach out and be person-centered. So that's what they're trying to do, and they're trying to come up with lots of really creative alternatives. So it's not that we'll all go and meet in a mass building on September 1 by any means.
All right, Michelle, RM in Mendocino County, wanted to brag on Garrett, who spent a whole week with clients at risk so that the other staff wouldn't have to be exposed.
You know, I wanna say, so if you couldn't hear that, it was a brag on Garrett, and it was Michelle making sure that her team got some recognition. And I need to say out loud that we should have been more clear that although there was an outbreak and although some circles got broken and although that was a big fat bummer, life does happen. And what I'm always proud of is how we respond. We certainly can't be perfect at all times. I wish. Gosh, I wish. I'll keep working at it. But we can't be perfect. But how we respond is really just as important as anything. So I want to say out loud, Ukiah, you all responded like geniuses, here, superheroes with your cakes on. So although it was a big fat bummer, and I know we all had lots of personal feelings about it, we couldn't have asked for any more from that team. You guys showed up, and you were incredible.
Absolutely. You guys were dedicated and faithful, and we really did appreciate that. And it was a scary time. And y'all had to do the nose swab, so extra props for that.
And you had to get like every 77 people to a place in 2 hours. So
absolutely. And it was, I mean, some clients had to be sedated to take the test. I mean, it was not an easy experience.
I'm sure you guys are still unwinding from that.
Right? Exactly. So, I mean, I got to do a little video chat with the whole team, leadership team earlier this week. It was really good to see them all. And I